Hi, everyone. Welcome to my COVID Chronicles. I'm Judy Rollings, and we have been trying to navigate through this maze, the 2020 pandemic. Occasionally, I have been drawn to write what has happened as a result of our situation, what I have thought, what I have felt, hoped, celebrated, grieved, and the beat goes on. I'm pretty sure my journey is not unique, and so I share these writings as a way to connect and to maybe even laugh or smile together. I can't wait to see you on the other side. Early in the quarantine, I wrote my first piece, and it is titled Bird's Eye View. Wait for it. One of the really terrific things that has come out of our quarantine or shelter-in-place edict as we try to avoid this plague are Zoom meetings. Virtually, is that what we're doing with others? Often for a very specific purpose, AA meetings, staff meetings, sharing a skill. My son is doing some wonderful piano workshops from his studio, and my amazing daughter-in-law is doing a yoga/meditation class every Friday morning. The first class was a week ago, and I came to it late. And today at 7:57, I remembered or discovered it was Friday, and her class started at 8 a.m. I had just sat down to have my coffee. We slept late. Why not? When her email with the link came up on my phone. Now, to set the scene a bit, I have been having hip pain. I mean, enough that a wonderful walk through the neighborhood, something really appealing with the beautiful weather, the gym's closed and being, shut in, so to speak, has become an exercise in whether or not I can gut it out for 30 minutes as I move at a snail's pace around the complex. I would have said that I move like an old lady, but, well, we won't go there. Now, I'm not a martyr, and at any other time, I would have run to the doctor with this discomfort. When it first started, before we were shut in, I didn't know which specialist to go to, a back guy, a GP, whatever. But, when it became clear that I should see a hip person, probably, I no longer had any desire to be out in public and certainly not at a medical facility. So I'm gutting it out with Advil and the occasional glass of wine. So, meanwhile, back at the ranch, it is 7:57 and the class starts in 2 minutes on Zoom. This means hip and all, which includes my computer, earphones, because the sound from the computer isn't good and my hearing is worse, and cell phone. I don't know why I need the phone, but must move from the kitchen to the living room where there's carpeting and I can be comfortable, somewhat on the floor. And I also brought my coffee, knowing that there was not going to be an appropriate time to drink it. And if it was on the table, I couldn't reach it anyway. And if I put it on the floor beside me, it might very easily tip over, but be that as it may. I gathered all and I limped into the living room and situated myself at the end of the room on the floor. Class began, the yoga part, sitting on the floor. Okay, because for me, my hip and also arthritis in my left knee, well, it's the right hip in case I forgot to mention that. Sitting is a challenge. I can do it, but I have to keep moving my legs to keep them from seizing up, for God's sakes. And if I put the computer too far away, I can't see it. So sometimes I try to put the computer between my legs, but that lasts about 3 minutes. Oops, numb somewhere, and I have to move the computer. So moving it away, the earphones pull out of my ears with a yank. This is all very uncalm and un-yoga-like. And I'm sure that if anyone is watching me, I am fodder for curiosity at least. What the hell is that old lady? What the hell is that old lady doing? Meanwhile, everyone else I see exudes a beatific calm that I yearn for. Okay, now we're standing up. Of course, this isn't going to happen. The earphones won't reach that far. So I continue in a sitting position. Paloma mentions the possibility of a chair. What a concept. No chairs near enough to reach, but there's a cushioned hassock on the other side of the room, and it might work. So I take out the earplugs and I crawl across the room to get the hassock with the cushion top, dragging it back. I move the coffee and sit on the hassock, but now I'm up too high to reconnect the earphones. So I remove the cushion and I shove the hassock out of the way and I try sitting on the cushion. Not perfect, but better than nothing. But oops, time to get on our hands and knees. So that means I have to reposition the computer. I move the coffee again, the computer into a place to the side of me so the earphones keep connected. Okay, done. And we do the child's pose and whatever, that other one is where you arch your back. Oh yeah, cat thingy. Now, while I am cat thinging, I can see that my old computer is losing charge quickly. And if I want to get in on the meditation part, God knows I need some quiet time. I need to plug in the computer, and the only computer that is situated so that the power cord will reach my computer and I can stay on the carpet is under the small table, which is against the wall across from the dining room table. There's about maybe 3 feet of space available for me to lie down in that space and meditate with the computer plugged in and my earphones on. So now I push the computer between the 2 tables. I hop, not over it, and run, maybe not, into the kitchen to retrieve the power cord and come back, almost collapsing as I was tiptoeing across the computer to plug in and lie down. Yep, did not like that at all. But I'm finally there. The computer is now perched on the portable wine rack. No, it's not. It's perched on the portable wine rack that is under the small table. It's to my right, and the maze of the dining room table and chairs are to my left. And I lie down in my incredibly cozy space. As Paloma guides us to let it all go, thoughts like birds can fly through our brain. I'm beginning to relax. Suddenly I am back half a lifetime ago in a gym in Connecticut, working out. How I got there, I have no idea. Maybe because I was about the age Paloma is now. Maybe because in my vision, I was working out without pain, whatever. It was a normal day in Connecticut. And I remember I was filled with the problems of the day, but it was a beautiful day and it was a normal day. Suddenly tears were streaming down my cheeks. Normal. I had gotten there in my car. I would drive home in my car. My family would be there after school for work and dinner. I had no appreciation of what that meant. I really tried to stem my tears because after my weird ups and downs and twitching and twisting for all the class to see, I was not ready to share my dissolvement at this point. But oh, life. Beautiful, ordinary, everyday life. How I so hope I will be around to see normal in whatever form again, life. Gorgeous. The ups and downs, the comedy, the tragedy, all of it. To dig in and absolutely cherish the sacredness of the whole deal. What a gift it all is. And I am grateful for what I've had so far. It's really humbling to think that in spite of challenges, losses, sadness, disappointments, it has been for me a lovely ride. And for so many in the world, that is not the case. Maybe the universe is saying, giving, at least to me, a very small bird's eye view into a bit of the other side. The weeks go by, and the weeks go by, and the weeks go by. And it seemed I was becoming more comfortable than I would ever have imagined I could or would. My second piece is titled Home, Sweet Home. We are now into shelter in place for I don't know how many weeks. I somehow fear I am becoming pals with my agoraphobia, which I've never suffered in the past. But since the entire world is telling me that at my age, if I do contract this disease, it's going to be curtains for this old broad. I'm healthy, I think. My blood pressure is low to fine. I am not overweight. I don't have diabetes, but so what? I am 81, and apparently that means that I am very close to the edge of the cliff over which there is no return, even if I never test positive. So, back to my agoraphobia. Dan does all the grocery shopping, and other than that, I haven't had to leave my house. I do some walks in the neighborhood when my hip allows. Oh, by the way, this latest hip pain does a lot to convince me that the calendar is indeed right. I am 81 plus years old and visiting a medical facility to find out what's wrong and doing elective surgery now, even though it's apparently allowed, has no appeal. For work, we check in with each other at our weekly Zoom staff meetings. This morning, I am fine, says me, although I didn't mention that a distant relative of Dan's passed yesterday from COVID. That rocked me. But damn, I am just fine. One of our brave and honest staff members said that he is really having a tough time during the quarantine. Had I been honest, I would have told everyone about our Sunday drive. Dan wanted to take a drive up north just for a change of scenery, maybe get some takeout for lunch along the way. I was hesitant. As I said, I'm making friends with my agoraphobia. I was not at all comfortable with getting takeout food. I said that was an absolute no, but we could bring stuff from home. We needed to be back by 6, though. I decided somehow that was the limit to my time spent away from safety. So I went, and as we were driving, I began to understand why I really didn't want to go. As we pulled out onto the highway, I began to fear car trouble, which would mean we would have to deal with people. And as we got further along, I knew I was going to need a bathroom, a public bathroom. Help. We went through Sedona, beautiful as usual. It never disappoints. I recalled our trips after first moving to Arizona and visiting relatives. Lovely memories, but tinged with sadness as some of those relatives have passed. Sedona has become actually annoyingly busy lately, but the quietness of it now permeated the air with feelings of an ending. We then drove through Oak Creek Canyon, and again, wonderful memories of visits. However, the canyon hikers apparently don't know there's a pandemic, as there were as many cars as usual, and there were many large groups of hikers without distancing or wearing masks. So I quickly went from sadness to anger and blame for their thoughtlessness. Then we arrived in Flagstaff. A bathroom was essential, so Dan suggested the Flagstaff airport. It was indeed quiet, but I donned mask, gloves, and I grabbed a disinfectant cloth and I boldly marched into the restroom, feeling not bold or marchy at all. But I scrubbed and I did what I had to do, and I scrubbed again and I returned to the car. We drove around Flag, quiet, and again, an ending of a world, life, joy, youth, hope. Then we started for home. If we took Dan's route, it would have gotten us home after 7. So I clung to my 6 p.m. boundary. Dan wanted to stop and eat the lovely lunch he had brought, but I was adamant about heading down the hill. I seemed to have turned into one of those frightened, crabby old ladies that I never want to be in the company of. This morning, I woke up with a melody in my head. Melancholy, but I couldn't remember the words or whether it was sung by a gal or a guy. I hummed it a little and I remembered Beth Nielsen Chapman. And I knew it was on a recording that Matt had played on. So I dug up the CD, and it was from The Color of Roses that he had written with her just before her husband died. He was dying. And my husband, Matt's dad, had died just a while before Ernest Chapman died. The entire album was written for their son, and many of the songs are about losing her husband. It was from that other time of great loss. Grief, separation, yearning. A child looking out the window and waiting patiently for mom or dad to come home. Will they? So I stay home and embrace my supposed safety. I'm grateful for my home, our plenty, the beautiful Arizona weather. I feel guilty for not helping so many others who are in need. Perhaps tomorrow I'll find some humor in this. I usually can. I will hope. Well, although the case numbers are rising, the world seems to be opening up for now. So out we must go. My next piece is titled Masks, the Beautiful and the Terrible. So, of course, I wear a mask. It's what we do. We protect others from ourselves, and we certainly hope that others protect us. Now, I have a number of masks. Mostly they are those blue ones with the little white ties that go behind your ears. Then I have a gray one that looks something like that. And then I have some white N95 ones that I'm not supposed to have, that have sort of a pointy face in the front. They also have tabs that go behind your ears. And then I have a couple of sort of, cotton ones that advertise stuff. Then I have this blue shell-like thing. Now this one has an elastic that goes behind my head. It's the most comfortable for me. However, I guess it's not quite up to snuff as far as how many layers and what kind of material and all that. Now, here's the thing. I wear glasses. I wear hearing aids. And apparently I have very small ears that grew in the wrong place for the most effective wearing of the masks, because more often than not, when I'm wearing the mask and my glasses and my hearing aids, in order to keep the mask from riding down so far, I have to tighten the little strings that go behind my ears, but then my ears stick way out, and without fail, if I should have to take off my glasses, out pop the hearing aids and the ties get all tangled up in my glasses ear things. In a further attempt to wear the mask with comfort and safety, I have purchased these expander things that you can wear around the back of your head, and you hook the loops into them so that you don't have to have the loops go behind your ears. However, for some reason, my head wasn't made for those either. And I have to wear the expander thing over the top of my head, which looks really, really dumb. And otherwise it slips down over the back of my neck, pulling the mask down with it. So today, for one of my first big excursions, I am off to the Festival of the Arts at the Herberger Theater Center. And because I am really paranoid, I feel like I need to wear 2 layers of the masking, one to protect others and one to protect me. So I put the shell mask, with the tie that goes behind the back of my head on my face. I put the tie inside the mask, and then I put the other blue one on top of it. Now, there I am, double masked, big glassed, and hearing aids in place. Already there are problems. The tie inside the little blue cup mask is tickling my nose and driving me crazy. However, I persevere, ears out and everything. I move smartly toward the festival. I have been very conservative and have hardly gone anywhere, but this is part of my job, so I have to go. Well, I want to go. Now, as I said, I wear hearing aids. This means I have a compromised hearing. And while they work reasonably effectively most of the time, however, when someone is speaking through a mask, I certainly can't do any lip reading now, can I? Before the world was masked, I didn't realize how much I must have depended upon that. Anyway, I murmur appropriately when someone asks me a question. What I really want to do is cross the sacred 6-foot divide, rip the mask off the person, tell them to enunciate, enunciate, enunciate. But I don't do that. I smile big, forgetting that that would have no effect whatsoever. The festival is outside in an area that looks really quite beautiful. New artificial grass has been laid and a brand new outdoor stage has been installed. The weather was gorgeous, bright and sunny, but I'm always cold. So to be, to be safe, I wore jeans, a 3/4 length shirt and a jacket. And then I was given a staff t-shirt to wear. I needed to go to the bathroom. And because I am staff, I was allowed to use the ones in the hall by the theater where we usually perform. They're very small with no counter space, but usually that doesn't present any kind of a problem. However, my galloping paranoia made it very difficult for me to put down my purse, put down my jacket, put down the new t-shirts they had given me. So there's kind of a rail next to the toilet that is there for people who have disabilities. So I stuffed all my stuff in the hand thing. And I just hoped that nothing would fall out while I did what I had to do. I did. And then, of course, I scrubbed away for a full 20 seconds, singing happy birthday twice and lustily into my mask. And then out I went to enjoy the festival and the performances. Did I say it was sunny? Arizona sunny and about 73 degrees in the shade, of which there is little. Did I say that I was dressed in jeans and a rather long sleeve t-shirt and a jacket? Well, I got to the point where I really had to take off the jacket. And then I felt I really needed to put on the staff t-shirt. So back I went to the restroom to do the changing. Now, the minute I got inside the restroom, I knew there was going to be a challenge. In order to get the t-shirt over my head, not drop the hearing aids onto the floor, which I was sure now resembled a hot skillet with COVID molecules popping like popcorn, I had to take off my mask. However, as I said before, there's no counter space in this bathroom, no lid on the toilet, no tank with a top. So my challenge was deciding where to put my mask while I changed into my staff t-shirt. Then I thought, ha, I will place it gently into the sink, which has been washed and washed with soapy water, and it's probably the cleanest surface in the entire building. So I very gently took off the mask. A big success, no hearing aids flew out, and I placed it very carefully and very slowly into the sink. Whoosh! I don't know how I forgot that it's an automatic faucet. The minute you run your hand under it, the water comes rushing out. In fact, every time you walk into that bathroom, it's like a fun house. If you turn one way, the towels start streaming down from the dispenser, and if you turn the other way, the soap drips all over the floor. The only time these things don't work is when you want them to. Now I have a mask full of water. Another situation that I had not really anticipated, along with not being able to hear what anyone was saying to me. But I was able to stop most of the water up and out of my mask. There was a reason I had that little shell in there. It caught most of the water. So maybe not so good for germs, but pretty good for holding water. Today I went online and ordered 3 Wear the Shield masks. They are supposed to be safe and super comfortable. Although I have a feeling that the person who is demonstrating them has ears that grow in the right place. We'll see, it's worth a try. Probably someone will catch on eventually and make a lot of money doing custom designed and fitted masks. Surely I'm not the only person in the world with ears that don't grow in the right place. On the day that 45 was diagnosed as positive, a day when the election still loomed over us all, I was moved to write this last one. I have titled it God's Grace. My son Matthew, the piano player, well, some mothers say my son the lawyer. Well, I have one of those too, or my son the doctor. Anyway, I digress. My son, the piano player, just recorded a brief, touching rendition of America the Beautiful. And I was transported, well, by his music always, but transported back to my graduation from 8th grade. Garden school, Stratford, Connecticut. Teachers, Mrs. Mogul, social studies and English, and Miss Pearson, science and math, and so forth. There were about 20,000 in our town and maybe 35 in my graduating class. I remember what I wore for graduation. It was a yellow piqué. Anybody remember waffle piqué? Two-piece dress that my mother made for me. A prayer and a thank you to my mother, who I never thanked enough. Anyway, in those seemingly very simple times, the class sang at our graduation. Lives there a man with soul so dead, who never to himself hath said, this is my own, this is my native land. I only know I swell with pride and deep within my breast. This is my country, land of my birth, grandest on earth. I pledge thee my allegiance, America the gold, my country to have and to hold. Land of my choice, hear my proud voice. I pledge thee my allegiance, America the free, and so forth. And hook, line, and sinker, I was in. Back to America the Beautiful. Another time when I was moved to tears by that song was after 9/11, when we actually sang it in a church service. And I remember thine alabaster cities gleam undimmed by human tears as mine coursed down my cheeks. I am not saying anything new here, I know. Our innocence is shattered, and probably rightfully so. We have been so less than perfect in our dealings with the world, driven by the gods of power and money, and all over the globe. And the pigeons have come home to roost. But allow me my grief for a dream that our forefathers had, where all are created equal and allowed to pursue on an equal plane life, liberty, and happiness. Hugely flawed from the beginning. I know. But for today, my grief. For the dream and the certainty that a little 13-year-old girl celebrated. I do fear for our lives. And I have been told that it didn't have to be like this. I am just so sad, even for something and someone whose recent trouble has been brought upon by himself and who's responsible for so much tragedy. How can I celebrate his trouble so he learns his lesson? The outcome offers us nothing either way. Maybe stronger safety precautions. Hopefully, at least that. But, oh, my dear America, in your shining glory, I love you and I miss you and I grieve for you. And I have a deep need to believe that there are enough of us who hope hard enough that we can bring you back. America, God, shed your grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Thank you all for watching and listening. Theater Artist Studio is very anxious to come back and share our stories with you all in person. And so we are anxious to raise enough money in order to be able to do that. If you are so inclined, it would be lovely if you'd contribute to our fund. Details will follow. Thank you again for journeying with me. Stay safe. I'll see you soon.